Hi guys, this PPT is regarding UPSC interview. Usually there are a lot of queries regarding the interview, the process. So I thought that collating every information would be really helpful to the aspirants, and that's why this PPT is being prepared and presented before you. So usually the general info about UPSC interview is that 2022 the interview will start from 30th January. 2529 candidates they have cleared UPSC mains this year. Now the interview usually takes place in two time slots. One is the forenoon session, which is starting from 9 a.m. in the morning. The other is the afternoon session, which starts post lunch, that is 1 p.m. Your venue will be Dolpur House, and candidates are expected to report 45 minutes before to the venue. In fact, it is better to report to the venue 45 minutes before only, so that you avoid the last moment tension. Sudden bhag ke jane mein, there are a lot of tensions that are there, and you'll be unnecessarily under a lot of pressure. So it's better to report before only. Now, lot of aspirants and candidates have these queries regarding the panelist. ये panel होगा तो ऐसा question पूछेंगे, वो panel होगा तो वैसा question पूछेंगे. So if you want to know about the panelist, just log into the UPSC website, that is upsc.gov.in, and they have given details of their panelist also. If you feel like, you can do their wiki check, their background checks also. Whatever information is available in the internet, you can just have a look. Some people say that it helps, but there is no relatable proof regarding it. Like, this is my personal opinion. Now, usually what is the sequence of events that happens and the things that you take along once you reach the Dolpur houses? You have to carry your ID proofs. So once you reach there, if there are 20-30 candidates at a time, you'll be made to stand in a queue. In groups, your documents will be verified. So in Dolpur House, they will have some verification teams. Some officers and some staff members will be there who will help you in arranging the documents, who will help you in getting the documents verified. Once your document is verified, then you will be allowed to move to the next hall, which is the big grand hall where everyone is made to wait, and panel numbers are given. So the panel numbers are as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Till the time your turn doesn't come, you will not even come to know what is panel number 1 or who's sitting in that panel number 1. Usually aspirants try all their tricks to just guess that panel number 1 will be Manoj Soni board or somebody else's board, but usually it is not that easy. So panel numbers will be given to you, and as per the panel numbers only, you will be made to sit in the groups. So one by one the names will be called, and candidates would be going to the respective panels. Usually a staff member would help you to locate your panel, or he might assist you till the room also. So the next general question is, what is assessed in the interview? Now basically, let me be frank enough and tell you that it is not a assessment about your knowledge, because आपका knowledge जितना भी assess होना था वो written exam में already assess हो चुका है. So what they will try to assess is what kind of person you are, what is your personality, what is the horizon of your thoughts basically. So general things what they will see is your communication skills, your analytical skill. अगर कोई problem दिया तो how do you think, what is your thinking pattern, are you able to analyze the situation in a balanced way or not? If there is a situation where some leadership quality is expected, will you be able to exhibit that leadership quality or not? General knowledge of current affairs is very basic thing that is expected from you. Ethical and moral values are expected of you, because as a civil servant it is very important to be ethically correct. Psychological and emotional stability is what they will try to check. So they will give you some situations and they will expect you to answer questions based on the situation. So they will just try to understand whether you are emotionally stable or not. At times the panelists, they'll try to pressurize you with difficult questions also. At times they will try to dig out more out of your answers only. Suppose आपने कुछ answer दिया, उसके कुछ keywords वे उससे उठा के they will ask some other questions. So basically they'll try to put you in some situation where they will try to understand your emotional stability, and administrative and managerial ability is what they will try to assess. Now, the general queries that we usually get is for females, the female candidates, they would usually, before the interview I'm talking about, they will usually ask questions like, what should I wear? So the answer would be the normal formal Indian attire. Sari would be better, but if you have a decent salwar kurta also, it is fine. The colors should be decent, not very bright colors which are normal pastel colors are good, but bright colors should be avoided. Should my hair be open or tied? For girls, neatly tied hairs are obviously better. You should greet very pleasantly and in a very polite manner. How much hand movements is allowed are some queries that some people ask. So not a lot of hand movements is allowed, because if you try to move hands a lot, it means that you are not very confident. So basic movements is fine, but too much of movement tells a lot about your confidence also. So that should be avoided. Similarly, for male, usually formal Indian attire is what is expected of you. So usually the males, they would wear shirt, pant, and some people would prefer blazer also of a blue or dark colors. Neat hairstyle is expected of you. Color of clothes already discussed. No bright colors should be opted for, and you should be polite while you are greeting. Hand movements should be limited. Now, some people have query about the DAF, that the DAF has already been filled, and now what questions can be asked from the DAF. So DAF can be divided into some parts, like there'll be some personal info that you have already given in your DAF. Prepare for those personal info. Like it is very basic. When you go in front of any panel, they would like to know about yourself. So that might be your first question itself. Now, suppose if your name has got some particular meaning, they will try to ask you regarding that particular meaning also. So be ready with such generic questions. If your birth date is coinciding with birth date of some great leader, like if it is 2nd October, then you can expect some question regarding 2nd October. So that can be one point where the queries can start. Then your hometown, because it is mentioned in the DAF, if it is famous for anything, or the general information about your hometown, population, maybe some important landmarks, maybe that you have to prepare. Your family, since you already mentioned in your DAF your father and mother profession, so that can be also one point of questions. Coming to education, if you see in your DAF, you fill the entire part of education where you have done your 10th, 12th, your graduation, your masters and other things. So those can be part of questions also. Subjects, whatever you have taken. Suppose if you are an arts background student, then some questions related to your arts background. If you're a science background student, some questions related to science background. If you're an engineering student, if you're an electrical student, some question regarding electrical part, or if you're a telecommunication student, some questions regarding telecommunication part. So that is very basic that you might be asked. Reason being, it is expected that since you have graduated in the particular subject, so you must be knowing the basic things about it. Now after this you might be asked that suppose आप आपने तो इंजीनियरिंग कर ली है, तो ये इंजीनियरिंग का रेलेवेंस आपको एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में कैसे आएगा, या फिर अगर आप डॉक्टर हैं तो आपके एमबीबीएस का यूसेज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में कैसे आएगा. सो बेसिकली द पैनल विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ यू विल बी यूजिंग योर ग्रेजुएशन और योर knowledge skills basically in the administration. So that is one thing that you need to prepare. If your school or college is named after a famous personality, then something about the person or the trust. Suppose if it is DAV, then something about the trust. If it is a Christchurch school or something, then something about the background of that particular school or college. So that you have to just prepare and be ready about it. Kabhi a school form hua ya kabhi a college inaugurate hua, and all those things related to it. Any other achievement that you would have written in your DAF, like usually in the DAF we do write about our scholarships or our success stories and other things, that might also be part of your questions, and any other linking points. Now, other things that they might ask you can happen, like suppose after education Bombay mein hui hai and you are working in Bangalore, so you might be asked questions like Bombay or Bangalore mein kya difference hai, work culture wise kya difference hai, city wise kya difference hai. So they basically try to understand your observation skills and how do you relate things. So contrast between the places which you have resided or where you have resided earlier. Maybe आपका अगर hometown कहीं और है, आप बरेली में if you have been born in Bareilly and if you are working in Bombay, maybe a difference between Bareilly and Bombay can be asked to you. Some general info can be asked about the places. Hobbies is definitely one thing that you need to prepare, and when you prepare for hobbies, like if you say ki painting is my hobby, then any aspect related to painting, who's the greatest painter of the world, who's your favorite painter, who's a famous Indian painter, what kind of paintings are there, all these things can be asked. Similarly, if you write anything regarding sports, if you say that badminton is my favorite sport, or I'm a table tennis player, then things related to badminton, what all cups are there, what are the rules, all these things can be asked. Apart from that, usually the panel would like to ask about your current affairs and your national and international knowledge also. So they might ask you about the general IR related queries like India-Pakistan relations, Afghanistan, India relations, China-India relations, how important is Sri Lanka for India, something which will tell them that you are well read and you are aware of all the national and international current knowledge. So government schemes and ongoing controversies also can be one thing that they might ask. Now some questions that the candidates usually have is, should I answer in brief or elaborate? So basically your answer should be very brief, precise, and preferably to the point. If you don't have a clue, don't answer. You please let the question pass on and say that sorry sir or ma'am, I have not read about it, and I'll brush up my knowledge and all those things, but don't bluff while you are answering anything. Is guessing allowed? No, it is not allowed. Preferably you should avoid it. If the panel says please guess, should I attempt? See, usually the panel will give you hints also because they think that with the hint you might be knowing answers. But if you think that you are not aware, then it is better not to guess. Now the current news, what topics to be focused for interview? You should be focusing on the, as I said already, DAF is the most important part related to your profession, parents' profession and other things. Apart from that, related to your optional also you should prepare. Maybe if your optional is anthropology or sociology, you can expect some questions related to that also, and it might be linked to the current affairs as well. The do's regarding the interview will be, definitely you have to be very polite, you have to be confident, you have to greet the interview panel, give the answers in a very confident way, be very brief and specific, have a very balanced opinion, assess all the parts of the questions which are being asked, and prepare for DAF and its related keywords. Now, when I say assess all parts of question being asked, what I mean is, suppose if you are asked about the current situation of Indian economy, then please try to assess this from all the angles. Indian economy with respect to India, Indian economy with respect to world, both should be assessed. So basically this will show that you are well read and you have your own analytical skills also. The don'ts which are definitely to be avoided is, you should not be bluffing. Never throw unnecessary keywords which will help the interviewer to frame new questions. Maintain the tone of your answers. Your answers, whenever you're answering, you should not be in a hurry. You should maintain the tone and tenor of your answers and don't be overstressed. We all know that we are under stress whenever we are appearing for interview, but that should not appear on your face. So don't be overstressed. And I wish all of you good luck and may God be with you and may you get success in the civil services. Thank you.